Warning, very strong. The person you love will think only of you and desire you, Poco law of attraction. There comes in life when you realize that the greatest force shaping your relationships is not luck, timing, or circumstance. It is the story you repeatedly tell yourself. Today, you are about to discover a powerful truth. When you transform your inner world, you transform the way you experience love. If your thoughts have been filled with doubt, fear, or the feeling that you are not enough, this message is your invitation to replace those patterns with confidence, self-worth, and unwavering belief in your own value. The energy you consistently embody influences how you show up in relationships, the choices you make, and the connections you nurture. Imagine waking up every morning completely certain that you are worthy of deep, genuine, and lasting love. Imagine carrying yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are appreciated, respected, and unforgettable. That kind of certainty changes everything. It changes your posture, your words, your emotions, and the way you respond to life. Instead of chasing affection, you begin attracting healthier interactions because you no longer operate from fear, you operate from confidence and abundance. As you listen today, allow yourself to let go of every limiting belief that has convinced you love is difficult, distant, or out of reach. Replace those thoughts with a new vision, one where you are calm instead of anxious, secure instead of doubtful, and grateful instead of fearful. The more consistently you cultivate this inner state, the more naturally your actions, decisions, and relationships begin to reflect it. This is not about forcing another person to think, feel, or act a certain way. Genuine love cannot be controlled, and healthy relationships are built on mutual choice, respect, and authenticity. What you can influence is your own mindset, your emotional alignment, and the energy you bring into every interaction. When you become the strongest, most confident, and most loving version of yourself, you create the conditions for meaningful love to grow. So take a deep breath and open your mind to a new possibility. Let this be the moment you stop doubting your worth and start living from the belief that you deserve a relationship built on trust, respect, affection, and genuine connection. Your greatest transformation begins within, and as your inner world changes, the opportunities for love in your life can change as well. This is your moment to step into a new chapter, one defined by confidence, hope, and the unwavering belief that you are worthy of receiving the love you seek. Everything begins within. Before any relationship changes on the outside, something first changes on the inside. Your beliefs, expectations, and emotional habits shape the way you interpret the world and influence how you show up in your relationships. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not enough," they'll lose interest, or "love never works out for me." Those thoughts can affect your confidence, your communication, and the choices you make. But when you replace those limiting beliefs with empowering ones, your presence changes. You begin to carry yourself differently. You speak with more confidence, you respond with greater peace, and you naturally become more open to healthy, loving connections. This is the heart of the law of attraction as many people understand it. Not controlling another person's mind, but transforming your own inner state so your outer experiences begin to reflect that positive change. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the version of yourself who already feels deeply loved, appreciated, and valued. Notice how that version of you walks with confidence, smiles without fear, and doesn't constantly seek reassurance. That person isn't worried about whether someone will call, text, or give attention, because they already believe they are worthy of genuine love. When you repeatedly return to that emotional state, you strengthen your self-worth. Over time, those inner changes influence your behavior, making your interactions more authentic and secure. People are often drawn to confidence, kindness, emotional stability, and genuine warmth. These qualities create space for real connection to grow. Many people spend countless hours wondering what someone else is thinking, but they rarely pause to ask themselves a more powerful question: what am I consistently thinking about myself? The answer to that question matters, because your relationship with yourself is the foundation of every other relationship in your life. When you choose self-respect over self-criticism, hope over fear, and confidence over insecurity, you begin to create a healthier emotional environment for love. Rather than trying to force an outcome, you become someone who naturally welcomes meaningful relationships through your mindset and actions. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It comes from consistently choosing thoughts that support your growth instead of your fears. Every day you can remind yourself that you deserve honesty, respect, affection, and mutual commitment. These reminders aren't magic spells, they're habits that help reshape your perspective. As your mindset changes, you may notice that you communicate more clearly, set healthier boundaries, and recognize opportunities that you might have overlooked before. Those practical changes can have a real impact on your relationships. Remember this powerful truth. You cannot control another person's thoughts, feelings, or decisions, but you can influence the quality of your own life by changing how you think, feel, and act. That inner transformation is where lasting confidence begins. When you stop defining your worth by someone else's attention and instead build a strong sense of value within yourself, you become emotionally freer. Ironically, it is often this freedom, not fear or chasing, that allows healthier love to flourish. So let today be the day you release old stories that say you are difficult to love or destined to be disappointed. Replace them with a new story. I am worthy of genuine love. I treat myself with respect, and I welcome relationships built on mutual care, trust, and authenticity. As you continue to live from that belief, you create the best possible foundation for meaningful, lasting love to enter and grow in your life. Warn, what you are about to hear has the power to completely change the way you approach love and relationships. For too long, many people have believed that love is something they must chase, convince, or earn. They spend countless hours wondering what another person is thinking, replaying conversations, waiting for messages, and hoping for signs that they are wanted. But the greatest transformation begins when you stop making another person's attention the source of your happiness and start becoming the kind of person who radiates confidence, peace, and genuine self-worth. The law of attraction is often described as the idea that your dominant thoughts, emotions, and expectations influence the experiences you notice and create in your life. Whether or not every outcome unfolds exactly as you imagine, one truth remains undeniable. Your mindset shapes your behavior, and your behavior has a profound impact on your relationships. When you consistently believe you are worthy of love, you naturally communicate differently. You become calmer, more authentic, more patient, and more emotionally secure. These qualities create the best environment for meaningful love to grow. Imagine waking up tomorrow without fear, without anxiety, and without the constant need for reassurance. Imagine knowing deep within yourself that you deserve respect, affection, honesty, and commitment. That certainty changes everything. It changes the way you speak, the way you listen, the way you respond to challenges, and the standards you set for the people you allow into your life. Instead of trying to force someone's attention, you begin to attract healthier interactions because you are no longer acting from desperation. Confidence has a quiet power. It doesn't need to beg, chase, or prove itself. It simply exists, and people often respond positively to that authenticity. This is why your inner dialogue matters so much. If your mind constantly repeats, "I'm not enough, they'll leave me," or "love never lasts," those beliefs can quietly influence your actions. You may overthink, become overly cautious, or seek constant validation. But when you replace those thoughts with beliefs like, "I am worthy of genuine love, I bring kindness and value into every relationship, and I welcome healthy mutual affection," you begin to reshape your emotional habits. Those new habits affect how you carry yourself every single day. The most important relationship you will ever build is the one you have with yourself. When you learn to appreciate your own strengths, forgive your mistakes, and believe in your value, you stop looking for another person to complete you. Instead, you become a whole person who is ready to share life with someone else. That shift is incredibly powerful because healthy relationships are strongest when two emotionally grounded people choose each other freely, not because one person is trying to fill an emotional void. So let this keynote be your reminder that lasting love begins within. Your thoughts influence your emotions influence your actions, and your actions influence the quality of the relationships you build. Focus on becoming the most confident, compassionate, and authentic version of yourself. Release the fear that says you must chase love to receive it. Replace it with the quiet certainty that you are worthy of a relationship built on mutual respect, trust, affection, and choice. As you continue nurturing that mindset each day, you create the strongest possible foundation for the kind of love that is genuine, healthy, and lasting. There is a powerful shift that happens the moment you stop chasing love and start becoming the person who naturally inspires healthy connection. Many people unknowingly spend their days searching for signs, checking their phones, replaying conversations, and wondering what someone else is thinking. That constant state of uncertainty drains emotional energy and places your happiness in someone else's hands. But the real turning point comes when you decide that your peace, confidence, and self-worth are no longer dependent on another person's attention. The law of attraction is often described as beginning with your inner world. When you cultivate gratitude, confidence, and emotional balance, you change the way you experience life and the way you engage with others. Instead of acting from fear of loss, you begin acting from the confidence that you deserve relationships built on mutual care, respect, and genuine affection. Think about the people who naturally draw others toward them. It is rarely because they are trying the hardest. More often, they carry themselves with calm confidence. They know their value without needing to prove it. They are kind without sacrificing their boundaries. They listen with genuine interest instead of seeking constant approval. They smile because they enjoy life, not because they are waiting for someone else to make them happy. This kind of inner stability is magnetic because it reflects emotional maturity. When you become emotionally grounded, your conversations become more authentic, your choices become wiser, and your relationships have a stronger foundation. Many people mistakenly believe that attracting love means convincing someone to think only about them. In reality, lasting relationships are built on mutual interest, shared values, trust, and consistent care. You cannot control another person's thoughts or feelings, and trying to do so often leads to frustration. What you can control is your own mindset, your actions, and the quality of the energy you bring into every interaction. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you naturally create opportunities for healthier relationships to develop. Confidence invites connection in ways that anxiety cannot. Every day gives you an opportunity to strengthen this new mindset. Instead of beginning the morning by wondering whether someone has contacted you, begin by reminding yourself of your own worth. Spend time developing your goals, your passions, your health, and your personal growth. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small it seems. The more fulfilled you become as an individual, the less you rely on external validation to feel complete. Ironically, people are often drawn to those who have a strong sense of purpose because they radiate positivity and authenticity. When fear whispers that you are not enough, answer it with truth. Remind yourself that you deserve honesty, kindness, loyalty, and respect. Replace thoughts of rejection with expectations of healthy relationships. Replace self-doubt with gratitude for the qualities that make you unique. Over time, these repeated thoughts influence your emotional habits, helping you respond to life with greater confidence and resilience. This is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is about choosing a perspective that supports growth instead of fear. So today, make a promise to yourself. Stop measuring your worth by someone else's attention. Stop believing that you must chase love for it to exist. Become someone who values themselves deeply, treats others with respect, and welcomes relationships built on mutual choice and genuine connection. As your confidence grows, your actions will naturally reflect that confidence, and you will create the strongest possible foundation for meaningful, lasting love. The greatest attraction begins not with controlling another person's mind, but with mastering your own. One of the most transformative ideas in the law of attraction is this. Your emotional state influences how you experience the world. If every day begins with worry, doubt, or the fear of losing someone, those emotions can shape your decisions, your conversations, and the way you interpret every situation. But when you intentionally cultivate the feeling of being loved, appreciated, and emotionally secure, you begin to approach life from a completely different place. This is not about pretending reality is something it isn't or denying genuine challenges. It is about choosing an inner attitude of confidence instead of fear. When you live as someone who already believes they are worthy of love, your posture changes, your voice becomes calmer, your smile becomes more natural, and your relationships benefit from that emotional stability. You stop reacting from insecurity and start responding with patience, wisdom, and self-respect. Imagine what your life would feel like if you no longer woke up wondering whether someone cared about you. Imagine beginning each day with gratitude, believing that love is something you are capable of giving and receiving. That emotional shift has practical effects. Instead of sending messages out of panic, you communicate with clarity. Instead of assuming the worst, you allow space for understanding. Instead of searching endlessly for signs, you become present in your own life. This presence allows you to enjoy the people, opportunities, and experiences already around you. Ironically, when your happiness is no longer dependent on constant reassurance, your relationships often become healthier because they are no longer weighed down by fear or pressure. Many people spend years trying to change someone else while overlooking the incredible power of changing themselves. Yet every meaningful transformation begins within. Your beliefs shape your expectations. Your expectations influence your behavior, and your behavior affects the quality of the relationships you build. When you repeatedly remind yourself, I deserve mutual respect, kindness, honesty, and genuine affection, you begin making choices that align with those values. You become more willing to communicate openly, set healthy boundaries, and recognize relationships that truly support your well-being. Confidence is not loud or controlling. It is the quiet certainty that your value does not depend on another person's approval. Living from the feeling of love also means appreciating yourself in the present moment instead of waiting for someone else to make you feel complete. Invest in your growth. Learn new skills, care for your health, strengthen your friendships, pursue meaningful goals, and celebrate your progress. Every positive step you take reinforces the belief that your life is already rich and meaningful. From that place of fulfillment, you are better prepared to build relationships based on mutual appreciation rather than emotional dependence. Healthy love grows strongest when two people freely choose one another, not when one person feels responsible for completing the other. As you continue this journey, remember that patience is part of personal growth. Not every desire appears instantly, and not every relationship unfolds exactly as planned. Yet every day you choose confidence over fear, gratitude over worry, and hope over discouragement, you strengthen the mindset that supports lasting happiness. Trust that your inner transformation matters. Focus on becoming someone who embodies kindness, resilience, authenticity, and self-worth. These qualities enrich every area of your life, whether in love, friendships, family, or personal purpose. So let this keynote become your daily reminder. Live from the feeling that you are already worthy of love, already enough, and already capable of building meaningful relationships. Release the need to force outcomes or control another person's heart. Instead, nurture your own. As your inner world becomes more peaceful, confident, and hopeful, you create the strongest possible foundation for genuine love to grow naturally, freely, and in a way that honors both you and the people who choose to share life's journey with you. There is one invisible force that quietly blocks more relationships than distance, timing, or circumstance, and that force is fear. Fear whispers that you are not enough. It tells you to overanalyze every message, to expect rejection before giving someone a chance, and to believe that love is always slipping away. The longer you allow fear to guide your thoughts, the more it influences your emotions and your actions. But the moment you decide to replace fear with confidence, self-respect, and hope, your entire approach to love begins to change. The law of attraction teaches that your dominant emotional state plays an important role in shaping your experience of life. When you consistently nurture peace instead of panic, gratitude instead of desperation, and confidence instead of insecurity, you naturally become more open to healthy relationships. This isn't about forcing another person to think or feel a certain way. It is about becoming someone whose mindset supports meaningful connection. The strongest message you can ever send into the world is not one spoken with words, but one reflected through your character, your emotional stability, and the way you carry yourself every day. Think about the version of yourself who no longer doubts their worth. This person does not wake up searching for validation or wondering whether they are lovable. Instead, they begin each day knowing they have value simply because they exist. They take care of their mind, body, and spirit. They choose words that encourage rather than criticize themselves. They celebrate progress instead of focusing on imperfections. That kind of self-respect transforms every interaction because people often respond positively to authenticity, kindness, and emotional security. Confidence is not about believing you are better than anyone else. It is about recognizing that your worth does not rise or fall based on another person's attention. When you truly understand this, you stop chasing approval and begin creating relationships built on mutual appreciation. Many people mistakenly believe that happiness will begin once someone else finally chooses them. But lasting happiness starts long before that moment. It begins when you choose yourself. It begins when you forgive your past mistakes, release old disappointments, and stop carrying stories that no longer serve you. Every painful experience has the potential to teach resilience instead of fear. Every setback can become preparation for healthier relationships if you allow it to shape your wisdom instead of your insecurity. The more you heal your inner world, the more clearly you recognize relationships that are built on honesty, respect, and genuine care rather than emotional uncertainty. As you continue this journey, remember that love is not meant to feel like constant anxiety. Healthy love encourages growth, trust, communication, and emotional safety. When you live from a place of abundance instead of lack, you become less focused on controlling outcomes and more focused on becoming the best version of yourself. You begin to appreciate each day instead of worrying about tomorrow. You listen more deeply, communicate more openly, and respond more patiently. These qualities strengthen every relationship in your life, whether romantic, family, or friendship. They also help you recognize people who truly value you for who you are rather than who they want you to become. So let today mark a turning point. Release every belief that tells you love must be earned through struggle or fear. Replace those beliefs with a quiet confidence that says, I am worthy of mutual love, respect, honesty, and commitment. Continue investing in your growth, your purpose, and your inner peace. As you become more emotionally grounded, you naturally create space for healthier relationships to flourish. Remember, the greatest attraction is not created by trying to control another person's heart. It is created by becoming a person whose confidence, kindness, and authenticity inspire genuine connection. When you become the love you have been searching for, you build the strongest possible foundation for the kind of relationship that is real, lasting, and freely chosen by both people. As we come to the final message, remember this powerful truth. The strongest relationships are not built through fear, pressure, or the need to control another person's heart. They are built through trust, emotional maturity, mutual respect, and the willingness of two people to choose each other freely. Many people spend so much time asking, when will they think about me? Or when will they realize how much I matter? That they forget the most important question of all. Am I becoming the person I truly want to be? The law of attraction encourages you to focus your attention on the thoughts, emotions, and actions that support the life you want to create. While you cannot determine another person's feelings or decisions, you can shape your own mindset, strengthen your confidence, and create the best possible foundation for healthy, meaningful relationships. That inner transformation is where lasting change begins. Trust is one of the greatest forms of personal power. When you trust yourself, You stop reacting to every delay as if it were rejection. You stop assuming silence means failure. You stop allowing temporary circumstances to define your future. Instead, you choose patience. You understand that every meaningful relationship develops through communication, shared experiences, respect, and consistent care. Rather than living in constant worry, you begin living with purpose. You invest your energy in your goals, your health, your friendships, your family, and your personal growth. Ironically, the more complete and fulfilled you become as an individual, the more naturally you are able to build balanced and genuine relationships with others. Gratitude also plays an important role in this journey. When you appreciate the good already present in your life, your perspective begins to shift. Instead of focusing only on what seems to be missing, you notice the opportunities, the lessons, and the people who already bring value into your life. Gratitude doesn't ignore challenges, it simply refuses to let challenges become the whole story. A grateful heart often becomes more resilient, more hopeful, and more open to positive experiences. This emotional shift influences the way you communicate, the way you solve problems, and the way you connect with others. Healthy relationships flourish when both people feel appreciated rather than taken for granted. There may be moments when doubt tries to return. You may wonder whether your efforts are enough or whether love will ever arrive in the way you hope. During those moments, remember that your worth has never depended on another person's attention. Your value is not measured by how quickly someone responds, how often they call, or whether everything happens according to your timeline. Your value comes from who you are, your integrity, your kindness, your compassion, your resilience, and your ability to keep growing despite life's uncertainties. The more you honor those qualities, the stronger your confidence becomes. Confidence built from within cannot be shaken by temporary setbacks because it is rooted in self-respect rather than external approval. As you move forward from this message, choose to let go of the need to force outcomes. Release the habit of overthinking every detail and replace it with calm expectation and wise action. Continue speaking kindly to yourself. Continue believing that you deserve relationships built on honesty, trust, affection, and mutual commitment. Continue becoming the kind of person who brings peace instead of drama, encouragement instead of fear, and authenticity instead of pretense. Those qualities enrich every part of your life, whether in love, friendships, family, or your personal purpose. So let this be your new beginning. Walk into each day with confidence instead of doubt, gratitude instead of fear, and hope instead of discouragement. Believe in your ability to grow, to heal, and to create meaningful relationships through your words, your actions, and your character. Let your heart remain open, your mind remain positive, and your spirit remain resilient. When you focus on becoming your best self, rather than controlling someone else's choices, you create the strongest possible environment for genuine love to enter your life and flourish naturally. And that kind of love, freely given, deeply respected, and built on mutual choice, is far more powerful and lasting than anything fear could ever produce.